Polling from YouGov for the Scottish Election Survey showed that 38% want to back Labour, with only 32% backing the SNP, which would be the first Labour lead in a decade. Fair to say then that it is pretty difficult times.
I think what we now know is that in certain parts of Scotland and vast swathes of Scotland, it's all to play for. And when it's all to play for, you've got to have confidence in your messaging and confidence in your narrative. And, you know, as Scottish National Party MPs in Westminster, our role is to be Scotland's voice down here and to make sure that we're talking about the things that matter most to the people of Scotland. Now, of course, we want Scotland to be an independent country, but there's so many other things impacting people's lives right now, not least the cost of living crisis. And, you know, we need to make sure that over the course of the next, 12 months, I assume it's going to be till a general election, that we are fighting Scotland's corner as we have done for the last few years, but perhaps with a little bit more confidence than perhaps we've had in recent months, because there is quite clearly still a huge swathe of Scottish people who want Scotland to become independent. We need to make that realistic for them, but we also need to make sure that when they listen to us, they know that they're listening to Scotland's voice.
How likely now do you think it is? I mean, realistically, you've been very honest with me. You've admitted to your disco dancing days, etc. So in terms of independence, do you still think that it's something achievable in the near rather than the far future?
It will be achieved when the people of Scotland want it to be achieved. And, you know, it's ultimately for them to determine that. Yeah, there's the issues around process in terms of the fact that ultimately it's a UK Prime Minister who will determine that. And whilst it's Rishi Sunak who says no now, and it'll probably be Keir Starmer who says no to a referendum, if the people of Scotland want something to happen, then it can, should, and will happen. So it's for them to determine that. That's the important thing.
But is it difficult to have a party that's based around that one single issue when there are so many other issues affecting people's lives at the moment, particularly your constituents?
So independence is what drives us. Is the reason that I joined the Scottish National Party. But we're much more than that as well. You know, I'll be speaking tomorrow in the King's Speech on energy bills, on mortgage bills, on food bills, the fact that the powers to determine these things and to make a life easier for people is controlled in Westminster. And I don't think Westminster parties are working in our favour in that regard. So, no, there's much more to us than that. And, you know, I think that's been reflected in the fact that election after election, the Scottish people have voted for us.